in this case India to the stars. And finally, with you, who takes pride in calling their country a dumpster truck, and why is it that a shiny Mercedes can actually pulverize a dumpster truck? But first, on India Matters, we start with a visit of Chinese Foreign Minister who is in India for an important, crucial meeting ahead of Prime Minister Modi's visit later this month to China, his first in 7 years. Now, the India-China relationship, viewers, is a very complex one. Ties are still recovering from the Galwan clashes in 2020. It hit the trade aspect, people ties, and all aspects of a bilateral relationship. There's been progress since then. Some would say even incremental progress. But now it is being expected by Trump's punitive tariffs. Prime Minister Modi's visit later this month is meant to send a message to the Trump administration, also to allow India to better navigate or best navigate the headwinds that exist right now, and also ensure that New Delhi best hedges its bets. Before I play out this report that tells you exactly what has happened in the India-China relationship, more importantly, what lies ahead, I want to play out these two important sound bites. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi and Indian Foreign Minister Dr. Jaishankar, who held the first round of discussions with his Chinese counterpart.
Having seen a difficult period in our relationship, Excellency, our two nations now seek to move ahead. This requires a candid and constructive approach from both sides. In endeavor, we must be guided by the three mutuals: mutual respect, mutual sensitivity, and mutual interest. Differences must not become disputes nor competition conflict. Excellency, when the world's two largest nations meet, it is natural that the international situation will be discussed. We seek a fair, balanced, and multipolar world order, including a multipolar Asia. Reform multilateralism is all the call of the day. In the current environment, there is clearly the imperative of maintaining and enhancing stability in the global economy as well.
Exchanges and dialogue at all levels. We maintained peace and tranquility in the border areas and resumed the Indian pilgrimage to the Mount Garampochi and Lake Mapayonzo in the Xizang Autonomous Region. We should firm up confidence to dispel interference, expand cooperation, and to further consolidate the momentum of improvement and development of China-India relations, so that while pursuing our respective rejuvenation, we can contribute to each other's success and provide the most needed certainty and stability to Asia and the world.
Once locked in a tense standoff, Asia's two superpowers, India and China, are now cautiously inching towards a diplomatic reset. The signs are subtle but telling, from reviving direct flights, resuming tourist visas for Chinese nationals, as well as a recent uptick in high-level bilateral visits. And now, China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi has arrived in New Delhi for border talks with National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. This will be only the second such engagement since the deadly Galwan clash in 2020, which sent relations into a deep freeze. External Affairs Minister Jaishankar has met with and held bilateral talks with his Chinese counterpart. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is also set to meet with Wang Yi, signaling a broader push to stabilize ties. Wang Yi's trip sets the stage for a more significant diplomatic reset. Prime Minister Modi is scheduled to visit China to attend the SCO summit later this month, his first visit to China in 7 years. The engagements follow a thaw in October, when both sides agreed on patrolling arrangements to de-escalate tensions along the line of actual control, helping ease a 5-year military standoff. The move opened the door to re-establishing bilateral ties that hurt trade, investment, and air travel. As India and China edge back to the negotiating table, all eyes are on just how far this fragile reset can go in easing tensions and paving the way for long-standing stability. The recovery and reset comes amidst punitive tariffs imposed by the Trump administration, leading to broader global realignments. Samia Afsar, NDTV World.
All right, India and China are not alone, as Trump has now waged an economic war against some of the other emerging economies, Brazil being one of them, with many, in fact, now suggesting that BRICS could potentially collectively stand up against Trump's economic bullying. Now, is there a case for it to actually happen, given the fact that both India and China have publicly said that de-dollarization is something that they are not in favor with? Let's get in Mohammad Ghazali, who's been tracking this space very closely for us. Now, Ghazali, this is something that collectively, if the emerging economies come together, they have a better chance of being able to ensure that Trump doesn't economically bulldoze them. Brazil has already spoken about it. What is it that New Delhi feels about this?
See, New Delhi has also reacted positively to Mr. Lula's comment, the Brazilian president, when he said that we need better coordination among the BRICS member. Though India has very categorically rejected the entire idea of de-dollarization, but India is also pushing for trade among the countries in Indian currency as well. That came up very recently from the External Affairs Ministry when they were explaining about the idea about a virtual meet among the BRICS countries, which Mr. Lula had proposed, and very soon we can have that as well. The External Affairs Ministry also spoke about the RICs, the trilateral summit between Russia, India and China. It is very hopeful that perhaps the talks will also focus on this when Prime Minister visits China for the SCO summit, but as of now there has been no deliberation on RIC as well. As far as today's meeting is concerned, there are 5 points on which India and China will be discussing or holding talks. One obviously is a land border issue. Special Representative Mr. Wang Yi as well as Mr. Doval will be meeting tomorrow. But besides that, the External Affairs Minister very categorically said in his opening remarks that there are some pressing issues on which both India and China will have to move positively, one being the border issue. Then we have some positive steps being taken by the Chinese side with the resumption of Kailash Mansarovar Yatra,
yes.
India issuing the visas to Chinese nationals, and there are talks being held about the cross-border trade to resume between the two countries as well.
All right, we leave it there. Mohammad Ghazali tracking that space closely for us, viewers. And this is exactly the big questions that we are putting forth right now on India Matters. Let's put them out, viewers. First and foremost, will India and China now unite against Trump tariffs? China spoke about it. They were the first ones to condemn the 50% unimaginable tariffs that US had actually put on India. There was absolutely no case for it. So is there now a valid argument for them to come together? The second key question that we are asking, will people-to-people ties continue to recover? Direct flights being one of them. There have already been Chinese visas that are being issued to Chinese nationals by India. What next to ensure that the people-to-people connect continues to build, even as some contentious issues require more deliberation? Is the stage set for possibly an India, China, Russia sort of a troika to come together? There have been many who feel that this is right now the best time to engage and look at that opportunity. Don't miss the fact that the first world leader that Vladimir Putin spoke to after his meeting with Donald Trump was Prime Minister Modi. And that tells you that there is a parallel setup that is being created. Can it be elevated? Should it be elevated and evaluated as an opportunity to take on the economic bullying by America? The other two questions, Pak-China nexus, that continues to be a thorn. That is something that India has spoken about. It came to light during Operation Sindoor as well, when the Indian Army spoke about it. Is that something that's a recurring problem? Let's get you the next question as well, which answers that as well and links it, which is the trust deficit issue. That is something that requires more deliberation, more talks. And how is it that the two countries are going to bridge that? Let's get in our guest joining us this evening, Aina Tanjan, who's a senior fellow joining us from Beijing, Ambassador Sajjanar, diplomat joining us on the broadcast, and Professor Andrew Latham, distinguished scholar of international security strategic studies. In fact, Ambassador Sajjanar, let me start with you, sir. As the Indian on the panel, I give you the first word, which is that as things stand right now, this is pragmatic diplomacy for us. We understand that we continue to have some issues with regard to China. There are some contentious issues that require more talks, more deliberations. But right now, the global headwinds are such that India and China are looking to probably come together and Trump-proof their economies.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gauri, for having me. You are very right. You know that when you say that there are issues which require more talk, more deliberations. But Gauri, let me say that even more than talk and deliberation, what it requires more is action. And action on the part of China. You know, we have seen that there have been hostile intent, hostile actions from China, whether it is, you know, demanding Indian territory, 93,000 square kilometers, or as you mentioned, you know, supporting Pakistan as far as, you know, and it is not a question of talking right now. This thing has been going on since 1962, 1963. It is not only Operation Sindoor. 81% of Pakistan's weaponry equipment is of Chinese origin. They supplied them with intelligence during the current conflict. So, you know, the problems are huge. They are constructing this huge dam on the border with Arunachal Pradesh. There are innumerable, even in terms of trade, you look at it, that, you know, there is a $100 billion trade deficit that India has with China.
Yes.
On none of the issues, UN Security Council membership, Nuclear Suppliers Group membership, where does the obstacle come from? The world is with India. Only China stands against India. So I think China will need to look into it. And let me very quickly, at the end, you mentioned about trust deficit. How does trust come in? Trust comes through actions. So you know, it's not words.
Hold your thought there, sir. Let's get in a view from Beijing on that. Let's get in a view from Aina Tangent on that. Aina Tangent, you know, China is supporting India when it comes to Trump's economic bullying right now. Completely unjustified what Trump has done in terms of the 50% tariffs. But Ambassador Sajjanar just highlighted the specific issues in the India-China relationship that needs to be understood and addressed by Beijing before there can actually be greater economic collaboration.
I think culturally there's some differences in how China and India approach problems. I've been doing Indian shows for many years now, and generally what the ambassador said is the litany of claims that are made by pundits on Indian TV, and it always comes down to, what are you offering me? What are you going to give me? I mean, the whole point about having a discussion is finding mutual solutions, win-win. You cannot change the past, but you can try to make a better future. Right now, India is under attack, and it's not just these tariffs.
No, India is not under attack. No, India is not under attack. There are unjustified tariffs, and we have very clearly said that whatever may be the case, there's not going to be a trade deal that we don't agree to. So there's no attack.
Would be an economic attack.
And we're standing up against the economic bullying by Trump.
Are you going to talk, or am I going to talk?
No, so I'm just correcting you there, but go ahead, sir. You have all the time now.
All right. So India was unjustly hit, but so was Brazil. And South Africa is hit with 30%. This idea that it has to be India and China, I think, is wrong. I think what it is it has to be BRICS leading the third world, not just the third world, all countries against economic bullying. This is India's opportunity to stand up and be a true champion, as it did when it created the non-aligned movement. So this is an opportunity for India, and it doesn't have to partner directly with China. It can partner with other nations. The ambassador said everybody's with India. Well, in that case, India should be with everybody else. The fact is, 40% of the world's GDP is represented by the 10 countries of BRICS. They represent the majority of people, of resources, 4 times the production of the United States. They represent the markets, the youth of the world. So if they stand together, they will not be hung separately. And this is the real issue here. China is reacting to a bully, and so should India.
There's just one thing I would like to make a distinction of. Collaboration is what I had referred to. You mentioned partnership, and I guess the nuances between the two words is exactly the divide that probably New Delhi and Beijing need to really cover there. But let's get in Andrew Latham as well. Andrew, good to have you on the show. Let me start by asking you, most certainly many people in Washington, D.C. did not want or did not imagine that 6 months into his term, Donald Trump would ensure that the entire emerging economy bracket, or at least the ones that count, whether it's Brazil, Russia, India, China, would actually want to evaluate some possible mechanism to try and take on America collectively. This is most certainly not what many people in DC were thinking would happen 6 months into Donald Trump's tenure.
No, and Donald Trump has made a number of, I characterize them as strategic missteps here. He was emboldened because the Japanese rolled over, the Europeans rolled over when it came to tariffs. Everybody rolled over except for India. China wasn't tariffed anywhere near the degree to which India was, although if you look at the fine print, you'll see that pharmaceuticals aren't covered by the tariffs and electronics aren't covered by the tariffs. There are so many loopholes that these tariffs are, in a sense, more optics than they are hard reality. But I want to back up a little bit because I think all this talk about BRICS and about the global South uniting, et cetera, here's the fundamental reality of international relations. Sometimes states' interests align and they're able to sit down at a table and do a deal. Now, India and China's interests on the line of control on the disputed border are not perfectly aligned in the long term, but in the short term, they really are. Both countries want to dial down the level of tension and resume fairly normal trade and people-to-people exchanges. Okay. But if you look at a layer just below that, you'll realize that states, especially including great powers and states that aspire to be great powers, often have hardwired conflicting interests. BRICS will never agree on very much other than theatrics and optics. Why? Because India doesn't agree with China, as the ambassador pointed out, on many, many, many issues. Both aspire to be leaders of the global South at the expense of the other, I think, and that makes BRICS, it's almost paralyzed. It's just not a forum within which you can create an alternative geoeconomic, geopolitical order. And I think it's a fantasy, an understandable one, because people are irritated with.
Okay, Professor Andrew, while you mentioned some of the big picture, let's now come to the immediate steps. Since the Galwan conflict, this is the first visit that Prime Minister Modi will make to China. And the second visit of the Chinese foreign minister happened now, after 2022. There is a clear effort on both sides to try and bridge the divide, the deficit, and work on their differences because they want to Trump-proof their economy. Again, I come back to ask you the same question. Many in DC would not be looking at this scenario and would most certainly not prefer this because that further isolates America.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think that's where I was going, is that the United States, too, has interests. And I think we need to distinguish between Trump and the foreign policy establishment. They don't always see eye to eye on these things. But I think both of them are caught up in the fantasy that this is still the unipolar moment, as opposed to the reality, which is this is a multipolar moment. It really is a big moment,
sir. And I will have to interrupt all three of you there, gentlemen, because we've been talking about how significant this moment could be for India. Prime Minister Modi spoke about it, the reform push from the ramparts of Red Fort, and now there's a top-level meeting that Prime Minister Modi is chairing with the economists to talk about what could be the next set of reforms for the Indian economy. We've spoken about, there's already been talk about GST rates being rationalized, but that seems to be the first step, viewers. On your screens are those live visuals and images of that crucial meeting that Prime Minister Modi is chairing on the next generation reforms that India will unleash. Remember, there have been tariffs that Donald Trump has imposed, unjustified 50%. India is not bowing down. India is not backing down. It is now looking to utilize this as an opportunity to unleash the next generation of reforms. That's what it is. It could be across the board. GST is one aspect, the tax reform that has already been put in place. There could be a next set of reforms as well. What could they be? In which area? Could it be in the services sector? Could it be in the domain of labor, land? Those remain to be seen. But these could be the next generation reforms, most significant since 1991. That was also a moment of reckoning for India. 2025 is also a reckoning for India. And India is looking to revolutionize this, make the most of unleashing economy, to make it the top three in the course of the next 3 years. India has already spoken about making it a $10 trillion economy. We're already the fourth largest and now looking to grow further. And to do that is the reform push that the Prime Minister is working. All right, let's get in my colleague Vasudha Venugopal, who's been tracking this big political and economic story for us right now. But before I get in, Vasudha, right now, viewers, let's tell you in terms of why is this so important. You have ministers there, you have secretaries there, all top bureaucrats, all top ministers right there for unleashing the next big reform in India. Let's get in, Vasudha, for more on this. Vasudha, what could be the next set of reforms that India is looking to unleash going forward?
Well, Gauri, this is a follow-up to the Prime Minister's Independence Day speech in which he did announce a task force for the next generation reforms. He said that it will be responsible for evaluating all current laws, rules, procedures that are related to economic activities. So clearly, the government wants to improve the ease of doing business. The Prime Minister has also said that his government will work towards reducing compliance. We did see Jan Vishwas too coming into the Parliament today. He wants to decrease compliance costs for startups and MSMEs, and also wants to make sure that the ecosystem for innovation and startups is friendly to anybody who wants to get into the sector. So this high-level meeting comes just 3 days after that important speech of his. And if you look at the participants in this meeting, it includes economists, it includes top ministers, and also, more importantly, secretaries of economic ministries that have economic consequences. So, very importantly, the next generation reforms are going to be decided. There's a task force that will work on them, and this task force will be responsible for, in some ways, very simply said, it will give people freedom from the fear of arbitrary legal actions, and will also ensure in streamlining all the laws that work in the sector of ease of doing business. Very important, considering that we are facing the looming threat of tariffs on us. There is, of course, growth, but of course there is always the question of incomes not growing and also quality jobs. So in the midst of all of this, the Prime Minister driving this agenda, something that he announced on Independence Day, is highly important.
Indeed, Vasudha, stay with us. Viewers joining in right now, what you're seeing on your screens are those visuals of a high-level meeting that Prime Minister Modi is chairing with all economic ministry secretaries as well as ministers. And Vasudha, the Prime Minister spoke about it. Ease of doing business is something that has been a huge theme as far as his vision towards ensuring that India becomes a $10 trillion economy. And when you talk about ease of doing business, GST is one part of it. Any sense that you're getting what next could be there in terms of ensuring ease of doing business?
Well, Gauri, one thing that is really the marker of this year's Independence Day speech of the Prime Minister is that you could see action that's being taken immediately. We saw the GST slabs action on that front also being taken. Finance Ministry already has put out that document. And the Prime Minister had said that for next generation reforms, it is important to create a supportive ecosystem for innovation, entrepreneurship and economic growth. In fact, he went on to give an example of how Atmanirbharta or self-reliance is important in all sectors, and one cannot be dependent on other countries, specifically in the field of essentials like fertilizers. So at a time when the threat of tariffs is looming over us, and when there is a certain sense that our exports can go down, the Prime Minister is pushing for these next generation reforms. It is in fact a call to Indian entrepreneurs and also to private investors and also foreign investors that this is a market that will listen to your ideas and innovation and will make it easier for you to start business on Indian soil.
As far as manufacturing is concerned, Prime Minister Modi also gave out a slogan saying, Dam kam, damdar zada. That is what he was really referring to, that ensure that you have low-cost manufacturing catering to the world. It comes in the backdrop of Trump tariffs, 50% tariffs that have been imposed on India. And also at the same time, you have these non-tariff barriers that China has imposed, whether it's in terms of critical minerals, whether it is in terms of fertilizers. So this really sends out a very strong message, doesn't it, Vasudha, to global investors around the world that India is looking to simplify its overall business regulations. And at the same time, it is very serious in terms of unleashing next wave of reforms going forward.
And then if you remember his speech, he did speak about not just fertilizers, but also semiconductors. And like you rightly pointed out, from the garment industry to shrimp farmers, to agriculture, to more importantly, innovation sector, space sector. All that he wants to do is set a time frame to align existing laws with the needs of 21st century, and which is why he's talking about this critical earth minerals, which is why, certain countries have suddenly become very important. And he also spoke about EV technology. He also spoke about self-reliance in that sector. And he said that it's going to be a long game. But what he has done today is a follow-up to the action that he sort of promised on Independence Day speech. And this task force that is going to come up later, this meeting that could be a precursor to all the action being put in place, is a reminder that the Prime Minister is extremely serious about boosting economic activity in the country. For long, we've had a capex investment of more than 11,000 crore. There's been this criticism that we've not had that kind of private investments coming into this country. So this is in some ways putting all of that on mission mode and making sure that our laws, are not acting as barriers to FDI.
Absolutely. Vasudha, stay with us. I want to now play out this soundbite from Prime Minister Modi's speech on Independence Day, when he spoke about reforms, the kind of push that he feels is needed for India. Let's listen into that. We come back and talk more about how in 3 days that vision is already getting actioned upon. But first up, listen to what Prime Minister Modi said on Independence Day from the ramparts of Red Fort.
इस दिवाली में आपकी डबल दिवाली का काम मैं करने वाला हूं। पिछले 8 साल से हमने जीएसटी का बहुत बड़ा रिफॉर्म किया। पूरे देश में टैक्स के बर्डन को कम किया, टैक्स की व्यवस्थाओं को सरल किया, और 8 साल के बाद समय की मांग है कि हम एक बार उसको रिव्यू करें। हमने एक हाई पावर कमेटी को बिठा करके रिव्यू शुरू किया, राज्यों से भी विचार विमर्श किया। हम नेक्स्ट जनरेशन जीएसटी रिफॉर्म्स लेकर के आ रहे हैं। ये दिवाली के अंदर आपके लिए तोहफा बन जाएंगे। सामान्य मानवीय की जरूरतों के टैक्स भारी मात्रा में कम कर दिए जाएंगे। बहुत बड़ी सुविधा बढ़ेगी। हमारे एमएसएमई, हमारे लघु उद्यमी, इनको बहुत बड़ा लाभ मिलेगा। रोजमर्रा की चीजें बहुत सस्ती हो जाएगी और उससे इकोनॉमी को भी एक नया बल मिलने वाला है।
All right, that was Prime Minister Modi, where he said it's going to be a double Diwali dhamaka, and already that is being actioned upon. Let's get in Shrimi Chaudhary joining us on the phone line. Shrimi Chaudhary is my colleague at NDTV Profit. She's been tracking this big story for us. Shrimi, in 3 days, high-powered committee that the Prime Minister spoke about is being actioned upon. What could be the broad set of reforms that the government is now looking to unleash, apart from GST, which has already been rationalized, and that path has already been identified?
Yeah, that's true. Actually, the PM is currently holding a high-level meeting today, started at 6 p.m. with all key economic ministers and top bureaucrats to take stock of the Indian economy. In fact, this meeting, as you rightly mentioned, comes, after that whole announcement at his I-Day speech. In fact, it's very critical time as well amid the ongoing global economic uncertainties and domestic efforts to maintain growth momentum. And what we are picking up from the sources at this point, that around 8 to 9 core economic ministries are participating in this, and this includes Finance Ministry, Commerce Ministry, Agriculture Ministry, as well as IT Ministry. We've been also told that Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman and Piyush Goyal are already attending that meeting with several top officials, right from, Finance Ministry secretaries, from Chief Economic Advisor, and in fact they are discussing the strategic roadmap and the blueprint of the agenda which they have discussed and the Prime Minister has put out in his I-Day speech. However, no official agenda has been released so far, but sources indicating that government is closely monitoring inflation trends, private sector investment activity, as well as the global trade dynamics. And GST is, of course, one of that blueprint, which is already actioned by the Finance Ministry. In fact, Centre has proposed to slab structure, and now the GO and the trade panel is about to meet and they will be sending final recommendations to GST Council, which will be meeting on 18th and 19th September.
All right, that was Shrimi Chaudhary telling us that the next set of reforms will be identified after that high-powered meeting, and the committee that it constitutes will identify that roadmap. It's been 3 days since the Prime Minister spoke about the vision in terms of the next set of reforms. GST, the one big rationalization of indirect taxation, has already been put in place. That has now, from 4 slabs, it has now come down to 2 slabs. It's going to significantly bring down the cost of 99% of products. And in addition to that, the ministries that are now in conversation in that high-profile meeting include agriculture, IT, and several others, finance, commerce being others as well. Semiconductor is one thing that comes to mind. How will that roadmap be? What will be the next phase of reforms? Well, as I said, the moment of reckoning is now, and the government is identifying how soon we get onto that path of next-generation reforms. All right, viewers, shifting focus now to Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, the first Indian on board the International Space Station. The astronaut who has sparked a revolution with millions of children across India wanting to reach for the stars. To honor him and his contribution, the Union Parliament decided to discuss Captain Shukla and speak about India's space roadmap. It happened, but without the opposition there. Shashi Tharoor, one of the most balanced voices from the opposition benches, lauded Shukla's feats, but also made it clear that opposition will not sit through the session. Why? Why is it that India will not be able to rise above political divides even on something like that? Let's get in the two voices, but before that, I want to play out exactly what the Speaker of Lok Sabha said, and also Jitendra Singh in Lok Sabha when he spoke about just how significant the contribution of Shubhanshu Shukla is and why it needs to be honored. Listen in.
आज एक ऐसा वक्त है जब सारा देश जश्न के माहौल में है। हर माँ अपने बच्चे के लिए दुआ करती है कि वो बड़ा होकर के शुभांशु शुक्ला बने, और हर बच्चा ये ख्वाब देख रहा है कि मैं भी बड़ा होकर शुभांशु शुक्ला बनूं। आज दुनिया ने भारत की क्षमताओं के आगे सर झुकाया है। अभी कल ही शुभांशु का इस सफल यात्रा के बाद राजधानी दिल्ली में वापसी हुई है, आगमन हुआ है।
मैं माननीय सदस्यों से आग्रह करूंगा कि ये महत्वपूर्ण विषय है। ये भारत की वैज्ञानिक उपलब्धि अंतरिक्ष का महत्वपूर्ण विषय है। आप अपनी अपनी सीट पर जाकर बैठें। मैं सबको इस विषय पर पर्याप्त अवसर, पर्याप्त समय दूंगा। माननीय सदस्य, इससे एक सकारात्मक संदेश जाएगा, देश में जाएगा, दुनिया में जाएगा।
Charu Pragya of the BJP, Sujata Paul of the Congress join me on the broadcast. Sujata, let me start with you. What is the kind of message that we are sending to millions of children who want to follow in the footsteps of Group Captain Shukla?
The fact of the matter is, Gauri, that we are a democracy and Parliament is the place where the opposition voices should be heard. And today, what we are facing is an attack on the very basic structure of our nation. When we are saying that the SIR in Bihar is being done to manipulate elections, that means that the government which is in power today, it wants to divert people from the real issue. Why is it that the government has not had a discussion on the SIR of Bihar?
Who's diverting?
No.
There is an Election Commission press conference that's happening. There is discussion happening on it. You and I are speaking about it. Every day we are discussing it. Why is it that a national hero cannot be congratulated and honored in Parliament and politicians cannot rise above their divides?
I'm coming to that, Gauri, if you allow me to complete what I'm saying.
You're on air. Go ahead.
Yes. So the point here is that Parliament is the place where the issues of the people have to be brought to the fore. And the government is not allowing that debate to happen. The government is refusing to answer on very, very pertinent questions. And if you talk about the EC's press conference, which was a fiasco, a fraud from the very Gyani Gyanesh Kumarji, who was giving us Gyan, which meant nothing at all. And he has not been able to answer the relevant questions. When you talk about the space research of India, it has progressed from 1947 to now, and we have the utmost respect for our great hero, Shubhanshu Shuklaji. Group Captain Shukla has made us all proud, but
It
that
would have
does
been
not take away.
great if your leaders would have said this from the floor of the House. But let's get in Charu Pragya of the BJP to respond to your specific charge that this is basically nothing but distraction tactics.
Gauri, good evening to you, and it's wonderful to be on your debate. A good evening to all our viewers as well. You know, sometimes the Indian opposition behaves like a petulant child, honestly, and a petulant child can only be reprimanded. History is not going to remember this ruckus in Parliament today. History is going to remember that Group Captain Sharma touched the stars. This is a moment of Indian pride. This is a moment where history was being written. This is a moment that generations to come will remember. And the opposition wanted to sit it out. I don't know what else to say about them. The truth is that this was an opportunity that they missed to show national pride. Exactly that and nothing else. Because there have been ample opportunities to discuss the SIR. SIR has actually disrupted sufficient amount of our parliament proceedings this time. Every single television debate is dedicated to it. The Supreme Court has been hearing cases regarding it and passing orders every single day. Yet, look at what the opposition...
So what they're saying is there's no debate in parliament.
Trying to say?
So what their template is, SIR nahi to kuch nahi. That's what the charge is. Charu, respond to that why not just have a discussion on it instead of disrupting Parliament every day. Just agree to a discussion on SIR. That's what Congress and opposition is saying.
So, but Gauri, explain this to me. They raise a issue like this during every single parliament session, and I can go back 10 sessions if you will give me sufficient time. Every single session, one issue is picked up. Do you really think the government is not discussing it? Hasn't it already been clarified that the Election Commission is not sitting inside the parliament to clarify on the questions that the opposition is asking, but they are giving explainers, taking press conferences, answering point by every single issue raised by the opposition. They have even taken it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has seen it fit to pass an order regarding that. But why must you be mixing two issues? Can we just go back in time and tell me one instance that of national pride has been celebrated by the Indian opposition? Is that how petulant and petty they have become? That even issues like this, which like I said, go down in history, when an Indian is touching the stars, when the whole world is watching, the opposition...
Sujata Paul, the final question. I'm giving you all the time because it seems that the opposition doesn't manage to speak on the floor of the House because they choose to get out, they choose to walk out even when there are issues which have nothing to do with particular party divides. It has everything to do with every Indian, their aspiration, their ambition, and how they aspire going forward, their country to look like. Even on those issues, would you have rather had your tallest leaders, your most significant leaders putting out messages on social media rather than speaking on the floor of the House? Is this how today you want to be remembered? And by you, I mean your party, your leader.
The country will remember the opposition as fighting for the very fabric of this nation. The fabric which has been destroyed by this government, by the mandate which was given by the people, which was stolen by this party called the BJP. And you heard the BJP spokesperson use certain words like reprimand. Who are they to reprimand the opposition? If the matter has gone to the Supreme Court, they have got tight slaps on their faces when the EC has been told that you have to include the Aadhaar card. That is what has happened.
This is not an SIR debate.
You
want SIR every day.
I'm coming to the point here. No, I am going to reply to every single accusation made by this very petulant and petty BJP spokesperson. You are petty. You are petulant because your leader is a dictator.
All right, time out. Sujata and Charu, time out. And that's essentially what this is all about. Time out. The moment of honoring Shubhanshu Shukla has gone. keep fighting, keep scoring political brownie points on the floor of the House, even as the moment to honor India's national hero has gone. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is really the takeaway as far as how Parliament proceedings are now being taken up. All right, shifting focus now to Asim Munir, a strange man who takes pride in calling his country a gravel truck, a dumpster truck. What's even stranger is that now a Pakistani minister is repeating the exact same analogy. This is Pakistan's national pride, its national identity for you viewers. They know they are down in the dumps and they envy India, which gained independence at the same time, has gone on the path of development when Pakistan chose the path of fascism. It chose the path of religious fanaticism, and now it is choosing the path of radical Islam under Asim Munir. His fantasy that he will blow up India's prospects is both condemnable and laughable. Where was this bravado when India downed 5 Pakistani jets, launched missiles from the longest distance of 300 kilometers, and when it hit all its main headquarters? And when India says that Operation Sindoor is not over, it is still going on. Where is all this bravado? Why has it just suddenly appeared? Why is it that Pakistan takes pride in being called a dumpster truck? I want to first play out exactly what the Pakistani Interior Minister said, the crude analogy, and how it defines and pretty much explains Pakistan of today. Listen in.
तो फील्ड मार्शल साहब ने ये अभी ब्रसल में खुद भी एक किस्सा रिपीट किया है। उन्होंने उस सऊदी डेलीगेशन को कहा कि जिस तरह बात कर रहे हैं ये इंडिया जो है एक शाइनिंग मर्सिडीज़ की तरह है, लेकिन हम एक डंपर ट्रक की तरह है जो भरा हुआ है पत्थरों से और बाकी चीज़ों से। अब आप इमेजिन कर लें कि जब इसकी टक्कर होगी तो उस मर्सिडीज़ का क्या हाल होगा।
Let's tell our viewers what exactly is that shiny Mercedes and where does that dumpster truck really stand. Let's put out some of those facts that need to be told as it is. First and foremost, this is the fact that pretty much explains everything you need to know, viewers, about India and Pakistan. India's IT sector stands at $435 billion above Pakistan's entire GDP. Our single sector overshadows the entire dumpster truck for you. Let's move ahead, tell you some of the other important figures. India actually alleviated over 1.2 crore people out of poverty. 90 lakh people plunged into poverty in Pakistan. There's a reason why Asim Munir says it's a dumpster truck. It's every bit just that. Let's tell you the other important figure. India is now the highest, fastest growing economy in the world. Compare that to Pakistan, whose GDP, whose growth is actually falling. This is what Asim Munir is actually sitting over. Next, forex reserves, $9 billion, enough probably about 2 weeks' time that they can get their imports, maybe less than that. This is $660 billion of forex reserves that India has. And last and most importantly, inflation, a very important measure because this will tell you whether average Pakistani can actually buy 2 meals a day or not. At 23%, he cannot. And this is what it is for India at sub 5%. This tells you exactly what the situation is and why there is so much of envy as far as Asim Munir is concerned. Let's get you the big questions that we are putting out right now on the broadcast. First and foremost, failed state Pakistan is accepting its fate. This is what it is. This is what it has been reduced to. This is admission of what a failure that Pakistan has become. Next up, pride in being down in the dumps. Who actually takes pride? Even a dumpster truck driver doesn't say, I'm a dumpster truck driver. This is Pakistani field marshal saying just that. And last and most importantly, what false glory is Munir actually narrating after Operation Sindoor? The world has known about it. We have put out proof. Our forces have said that after Balakot, they realized they need to give proof. They've given those proof. So what exactly is it that Asim Munir is really talking about? Let's get in our big guests joining us this evening, General Raj Shukla, Sushant Sareen, and Raymond Vickery. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you so much for speaking to me. General Shukla, let me start with you. Asim Munir is a strange man We've spoken about it. He takes glory in the fact that he wants to be and his country to be a dumpster truck. We've spoken about the comparisons. Go ahead, sir. How do you decode this man and what he's talking about and identifying his country as?
You know, there are some pretty sharp minds in the Pakistan military too. And they must be wholly embarrassed by the limitations of Field Marshal Munir's schooling and education. If this is the best piece of literature he can come up with, I mean, dump truck. If I were in the Pak army, I would grovel at what my boss is saying. It's as silly as that. But, you know, let me make a few serious points too. And that is this, you know, this dump truck Mercedes analogy may be accurate in Asim Munir's view, but it does not recognize how the mechanics of engagement has undergone a complete transformation. As Operation Sindoor showed us, अगर हमको वो dump truck निकालना है तो टकराने की जरूरत नहीं. Now we have got standoff capacities. 200, 300, 200, 300 kilometers, we will take it off. And if we beef our offensive ISR, which I'm sure we are doing, 4 months down the line, we'll take out the driver of the dump truck. Asim Munir Saab himself may go. That is offensive poise in ISR. And if what the Prime Minister signaled yesterday, Sudarshan Chakra, which means now we are sensing larger dangers, building an AD topology, offensive poise, if we do all that, then Pakistan is in for some very testing times. The last point I'd like to make is, you see, in the larger sense, Pakistan is merely a pest in our strategic calculus. We have better things to do. We have got, you know, larger competitions to take care of, our economy, technology, futures. We are building our economy, and some of that economic heft will be translated into strategic military poise. तो ये जो बिलावल, शहबाज, मुनीर और अभी क्या नाम है इनका?
Right.
Moshi Naqvi. This kind of cacophony is useless, because if the aim is to do some deterrent signaling, certainly there is no deterrent signaling out of it at all. No, so they should seriously worry about the dump truck, their own plight. Look at better phrases to signal asymmetry and deterrence, if that is what they wish to do. ये dump truck वगैरह तो बहुत ही low IQ है. That's all I can say with the utmost humility at my core.
Let's get it, Raymond Vikri, and then we give then Sushant Serene. Raymond Vikri, this was said on American soil. One can keep debating as to why is it that Donald Trump and his administration choose to bet over a pony rather than a racehorse. We put out those statistics and the difference between India and Pakistan very clearly. But the fact that it was actually said on American soil and those threats were not veiled, those crude analogies, if one really deciphers, does indicate what is the kind of thought process that's going on as far as Pakistanis are concerned. How is it that America is allowing any of this and in fact emboldening this thought?
Well, thanks very much for having me. It seems to me that these remarks show the ill wisdom of the President Trump's rehyphenating or recoupling India and Pakistan and viewing the relationship as one which does not consider each country on its own merits. That we have worked against in the United States under Republican and Democratic administrations alike to decouple, to see that India is a vibrant democracy and to stand shoulder to shoulder with India in the fight against international terrorism, whether it be from Pakistan or any other place. So that having been said, it is extremely important to keep in mind that it is in the best interest of all to try to wage peace as well as you wage war. As for allowing someone to say something in the United States hopefully we're going to be able to maintain our tradition of allowing free speech, which has been under attack by the Trump administration at this time. But it's a very unfortunate analogy for the Pakistanis.
This is not about unfortunate. This is not about freedom of speech. The Pakistani general actually said that if India creates a dam on Indus, on an Indus river, we are going to then launch missiles. Forget the fact that he doesn't understand that Pakistan is the downstream country and it will be inundated. But these are threats that actually he made on American soil. So this has nothing to do with freedom of speech. Let's not come out and normalize these kind of threats. Let's get in Sushant Sareen on this. I think the only dumpster truck here is actually the poor people of Pakistan. The army is as rich as it gets. 10% or more of the Pakistani army is under the control of the generals there. Talk to us, Sushant, about the mindset here with which this analogy is now being said again and again, first by Asim Munir and now by the Pakistani Interior Minister.
Well, the Interior Minister is nothing but a lackey of Asim Munir.
Yes.
Otherwise, he's he's a political lightweight. He doesn't count for anything. It's only because he's very closely related to Asim Munir, so he blabs his mouth off. Otherwise, he's not worth anything to anybody. Secondly, I think I welcome what Asim Munir said. Because look, at one level, it's an admission of reality. And he accepts that his country is a dumpster truck. Now, if he had the brains and the vision, he could have said, well, we are a Volvo truck or a Mack truck or something nice and sexy. But he compares his country to a dumpster truck. Who am I to oppose him on saying that? And he says India is a shiny Mercedes. I welcome that comparison. Secondly, of course, it shows the mindset. It shows the mindset of the Pakistani, especially the Punjabi Muslim in Pakistan. Because their entire worldview is that I must bring the wall of my neighbor or my enemy down, even if I was to come under. And very often you will hear the Pakistanis say that, listen, we are broke, we are finished, we are a third-rate country, we have nothing to offer to anybody in the world. But we can have the power to destroy other countries, we have the power to destroy India. And like Asim Munir said, and I don't see how this is freedom of speech, unless, of course, threatening nuclear holocaust is freedom of speech, in which case I don't know the definition anymore. But this is the mindset of the Pakistani people. And this is not the mindset only of a general who's a jihadist, by his training and by all the stuff which he has imbibed. Yes. This is the mindset of people across the board. So, you have to understand what are the kind of people you are dealing with. One last point, Gauri. When General Shukla says that we have this standoff capability and next time we might be taking out Munir himself, which is exactly what Munir wants. He wants to become a martyr. It's another matter that when the Indian missiles were landing on Pakistani soil, he was hiding in a bunker. At that point of time, he lost the jihad and, wanting to sacrifice himself and embrace martyrdom. He forgot all of that. That time he was, slinking into a hole like a rat. But now, of course, because there is no danger to his life, so he is, again, a very Punjabi Muslim thing to do.
Fake bravado.
Podium and, fake bravado, which comes very naturally to these guys.
Indeed.
Nothing surprising in that.
All right. I will have to leave it there, gentlemen. Thanks so much for joining me on this edition of India Matters. Well, viewers, it's not just a gravel truck. It's also a grovel truck. That's what Pakistan is. Go to China, ask for more loans. Then go to America, ask for more aid in the guide of saying that you are going to fight against terror. Then go to World Bank, then go to IMF, ask for more bailouts, more loans. All this groveling only to stay solvent. What does it speak about the man who needs a Nobel recommendation letter from the leader of a country who calls his nation dumpster truck? And what's the worth of that recommendation letter? I'll leave you with that thought, viewers, as we wrap this edition of India Matters. Thanks so much for watching.
those who live in the National Capital Region, you know that commuting into Delhi from Gurugram is a nightmare at the best of times. It takes hours on the road one way. Now, several parts of the Dwarka Expressway have already been opened to traffic, but on a trial basis. The Prime Minister inaugurated the entire stretch, including a new tunnel which has been constructed near Mahipalpur in Delhi. What we decided to do was take a reality check on whether that road actually makes a difference, and also take a look at a far more substantive project. It's called the UER, Urban Extension Road 2, which actually links up to that same Dwarka Expressway, and it connects 3 national highways, provides better connectivity to the northwest of Delhi, to the southwest of Delhi, including areas such as the Indira Gandhi International Airport. Does it make a difference? Find out.
Hello, Moto.
Moto G96 5G. All eyes on you.
Fenesta Windows, beautiful and durable designs. इंस्टॉलेशन से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस। आपके घर में फिनेस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए।
Find Finer Fenesta.
That's huge. That is a biggie. It's out of it.
Gold Plus Clear Glass. कार हो या नियर, सब कुछ दिखे क्लियर।
My birthday gift to पापा। ये उनके पापा की पहली गाड़ी एक गराज में पड़ी थी दार्जिलिंग में। फिर 3 मैकेनिक, पेंटिंग, पॉलिशिंग। जब इसे फाइनली घर लाया ना, तब लगा लाइफ में ग्रो किया है। बुलाओ।
SIP करो, इन्वेस्ट करो, लाइफ में ग्रो करो।
प्रतिभूति बाजार में निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। निवेश करने से पहले सभी संबंधित दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
Other opposition parties. They argue, I conclude. They deflect, I drill down. This isn't a free-for-all. It's a reckoning. No filler, no fog. Only the facts and where they lead. Every night at 9, the case closes because the buck stops here.
Is your business future ready? Join the 13-week strategic ESG certification program for business sustainability and growth for CXO and business leaders by NDTV, Terry, and Zenora. Master global ESG frameworks, gain real-world tools, and lead with impact. Starts August the 23rd. Enroll now and power your business with sustainability.
Fenesta Windows, beautiful and durable designs. इंस्टॉलेशन से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस। आपके घर में फिनेस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए।
Find Finer Fenesta.
जब मुंबई से वापस कोल्हापुर शिफ्ट हुआ तो सबने कहा कि ड्रीम सिटी को छोड़ रहा है। ड्रीम सिटी तो मैंने कहा ड्रीम में तो यही गलियां आती हैं। तो जब ये रियलाइज़ हुआ कि कुछ बड़ा करने के लिए बड़े शहर में रहने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, तब लगा कि लाइफ में ग्रो किया। कशित आई ऐसे बॉय मिलते मुंबई में, चांस ही नहीं।
SIP करो, इन्वेस्ट करो, लाइफ में ग्रो करो।
प्रतिभूति बाजार में निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। निवेश करने से पहले सभी संबंधित दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
NDTV 24/7 is India's #1 English news channel on YouTube. Credible, compelling, always ahead of the curve. Thank you for choosing NDTV 24/7 as your trusted source for news.
फिनिस्टा विंडोज, ब्यूटीफुल एंड ड्यूरेबल डिजाइन, इंस्टॉलेशन से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस। आपके घर में फिनिस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए।
फाइन फाइनर फिनेस्टा।
हेलो बोलिए मैडम, डब्बा टेलिंग कब से चल रहा है पता है मैडम आपको? हम और आप तो जन्म भी नहीं हुआ था हमारा।
We investigated a shady advisory firm that has spent big bucks on advertising on the front pages of national dailies.
ये आपको बिल्कुल उसका ऐसे हल्का सा भी खौफ नहीं है।
मैंने एक बार
Good evening and welcome to the last word. I am Ankit Tyagi. You're watching NDTV. Two important stories on the broadcast this evening. Number one, of course, the tussle for the vice president. While the BJP and the NDA have finalized their candidate, the opposition still in a bind. A long meeting today at this moment have not resulted in a name coming through. Is it going to be a Tamilian versus Tamilian fight, or is it going to be a larger political messaging in possibly the fight which the opposition almost certainly is going to fight and may lose when it comes to the numbers? We'd also later in the show speak about the Election Commission's response and the escalation that continues from the opposition in this big war of words. What is the end game? Is boycott an option? And on the other hand, has the Election Commission, after coming out with its press conference yesterday, clarified, cleared the air, or has it created more confusion as far as the questions of the opposition is concerned? We'll discuss, debate both these stories. Before that, a breaking news coming in. All right, big breaking news here on the broadcast. RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat has said, and I'm quoting him here, it's a pitch for equal participation of women in the Sangh. Now, this is big departure from largely what we have seen in the history of RSS, in many years of RSS, on all the questions about the participation of the women in the Sangh. The RSS chief has said in Jaipur, I was asked how many women are there in the Sangh. I replied that at the very least, the number of women is equal to the number of Swayam Sevaks. So RSS chief's Shakti pitch, equal representation for women in the Sangh as well.
जयपुर में मुझे पूछा गया संघ में कितनी महिलाएं हैं। मैंने कहा कि कम से कम हमारे जितने स्वयंसेवक है उतनी महिलाएं पक्की है संघ में, क्योंकि हर स्वयंसेवक की कोई माता है, कोई भगिनी है, पत्नी है। वो चाहती है कि ये काम अपने इस पुरुष ने करना चाहिए, तब वो होता है। तो समिति के पास भी 43 प्रचारिकाएं हैं, अब उनका भी काम बढ़ रहा है अच्छी तरह से।
All right, so the RSS chief, in fact, equating the women, those who are in the lives of the Swayam Sevak, as also part of the RSS family. Professor Geeta Bhatt, political analyst, RSS ideologue, is with us at this moment. Geeta Bhatt, thank you so much for speaking to us. What do you make of the statement that has come from the RSS chief, Mr. Mohan Bhagwat, about the participation of women? This has been something that has been debated, discussed, sometimes even been a part of allegations against the RSS from the opposition that the participation of women in the Sangh is abysmal.
Well, Ankitji, I think Mohan Bhagwatji today has reiterated, which he has also on many occasions said, that the participation of women in the nationalist ideology, with the nationalist ideology, is very much a part of the Sangh family, if we can say like that, where Rashtra Sevika Samiti, the women's organization, is committed with women who have the nation first approach, believing in preserving and upholding our culture and heritage. You see, there are many affiliate organizations where there are participation of women is as much as of men, whether it is those who are lawyers, like for example Adhivakta Parishad, then the students are there, Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad, whether there are teachers, Akhil Bharatiya Rashtriya Shakshik Mahasangh, and so on and so forth. So more than 30 organizations are
but
there.
Geeta ji, what you are giving an outline is about the affiliate organizations of the RSS, the offshoots of the RSS, where the women participation is, of course, like you said, is there. But the question then comes down to when in every spectrum across every, whether it's politics, political parties, even now in the armed forces, the women are being encouraged, they are reaching the top positions. Is there a possibility of a woman even today in the RSS to reach the ranks of the Swayam Sevak? Will that be something that the RSS would be open to?
Well, Ankit ji, many times this has been debated, and I think if it is a men's cricket team, then only men are going to be there participating in it. And it's a women's cricket team, then there will be women participating in it. Now, that is what I think Mohan Bhagwat ji was putting forth, that there are the Swayam Sevaks who are working in the Sangh. It is not just as an individual that they are working for the organization, but it is the whole family, even the women of the family. They are as much committed to the the thought process and the feeling of national service which Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh is committed for. And that is why he said that then it is not just the men but also equal number of women, because all those families, they are equally participative in all the functions and all the commitments which are taken by the RSS.
But that's by default. It's not as a primary member, is it?
See, that is why you see he just mentioned in his in his speech that the women organization, a parallel women organization which also believes in the same national service, which has the same ideological alignment of Rashtriya Sevika Samiti, is working since 1936. And it is with the same thought process. So, again and again, bringing this question that why, why men and women, they can't be in in RSS is something that does not have much stand, because Sevika Samiti is with the same ideological commitment, is working across the nation. In fact, it is one of the largest women organizations working in the country at present.
All right. Thank you for joining us, ma'am, with your inputs on this story of the assertion that the RSS chief has made as far as the women's participation in the Sangh is concerned. All right. Let's move on to our main focus at this hour, and the breaking news coming in on this. While the NDA candidate is set, the deliberations in the opposition camp continues on their candidature for the vice president. Now, what we have learned today, that in the meeting that took place at the residence of Mallikarjun Kharge, the leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha, NDTV is getting you the inside details. Two names primarily have come into discussion. One is Malasamy Annadurai, a former ISRO scientist, and the other name is Tushar Gandhi. Tushar Gandhi, the great-grandson of Mahatma Gandhi, his name was also discussed. The pros and cons for both these names are being discussed, and Mr. Kharge has been authorized to take a call as far as these probables are concerned. Remember, there are a lot of political weightage that will go into deciding who should take on C.K. Radhakrishnan, the choice of the NDA and the BJP for the vice president's job. My colleague Vasudha joins me with more details on this. Vasudha, very important, both these names, Tushar Gandhi and Mr. Annadurai. Just give our viewers a sense, at least, what are the things that are working for and against both these candidates in the opposition camp?
Well, on a day, incidentally, when the opposition in some ways boycotted a discussion on the space achievements of the country, Ankit, it's quite incidental that they're also looking at a space scientist, Mailasami Annadurai, as a probable vice president candidate. Apart from that, of course, because they've made this into an anti-BJP RSS fight, and they want to also send out a message that they are against the system of BJP RSS and also the ideology of this of the Sangh Parivar. So that's why I think Tushar Gandhi becomes very important, because remember, he was the first one to come out with that book on the men who killed Gandhi, and he has been persistently talking about the alleged problems with the RSS way of thinking. So of course he's an author, and the numbers are stacked in the favor of the NDA. And what I'm told is this was a very small meeting of very few leaders, and these are the two main names that came up. Of course, there could have been other names as well, but these are the two main names that came up, and more people seem to be interested in Mr. Annadurai's candidature, but remember that he's a non-political guy. He's an achiever. He's somebody who's been part of Chandrayaan 1, Chandrayaan 2, and also somebody who's part of Mangalyaan. So he's called the Moon Man of India, somebody who's very invested in that space, innovation space. So clearly the opposition also wants to send out a message that, it is invested in individuals who are accomplished. But remember, because it has to be also somebody from the South Indian to give the kind of contest, the flavor it needs, it is probable that the DMK could have the last word, or at least could have a push in this matter.
Okay.
So it now depends on Mr. Kharge to take a call as to who the candidate could be. If it could be one of these candidates, or it could be somebody else from the larger realm.
Precise. Thank you, Vasudha, for joining us with all those details. And precisely, that's the conundrum for the opposition. At one hand, the DMK would want somebody from Tamil Nadu, or Tamilian versus Tamilian fight, so that they can at least blunt the attack of the BJP that DMK is not backing somebody from Tamil Nadu. On the other hand, the TMC and other parties do not want a political figure to take on Mr. Radhakrishnan, who is the pick of the NDA. There have been a lot of developments on this. Take a look at this report.
CP Radhakrishnan versus who? That's the big question. It was a day of hectic huddles in the national capital. A day after the BJP parliamentary meet named CP Radhakrishnan as its vice president candidate, Radhakrishnan met Prime Minister Modi in Delhi. The NDA has the numbers, but it's looking to build consensus. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh has reached out to Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge, YSRCP Chief Jagan Mohan Reddy, BJD's Naveen Patnaik, and Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin. The choice of CP Radhakrishnan has shaken up Tamil Nadu politics. With state elections ahead, the vice president's race has become a fight for Tamil pride.
They are doing it only because in the next 8 months, Tamil Nadu is going to face election. So they want to take advantage and tell the people that we have fielded one Tamil for the post of vice president. But whatever they have done to Tamil Nadu is still lingering in the minds of the people. They're not giving money to the state of Tamil Nadu for education, stating that only if you follow our system, we will not give money. Fielding one Tamilian so that they can cover everything is, I don't know what kind of an idea it is.
The India Bloc too is in a huddle, but consensus is still elusive. The DMK wants a Tamil face. Congress is on board, but Mamata Banerjee's TMC wants a non-political face. The last time too, Trinamool stayed away, tilting numbers in favour of the NDA. With NDA clearly in pole position and opposition still divided, the big question remains, who will take on CP Radhakrishnan in the vice presidential election? NDTV Bureau Report.
Make no mistake, it's the contest for the Vice President of India, but the repercussions and the reverberations would be on the state politics in Tamil Nadu and political messaging across the country as well. Mr. Nalin Kohli is joining us at this moment to discuss this further. He's the national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Dr. Syed Hafiz, spokesperson of the DMK, is also with us on this discussion, and so is R. Rajagopalan, senior journalist. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for waiting so patiently. Let's begin with you, Dr. Hafiz. You know, the DMK has always projected the BJP, at least as a party which is anti-Tamilian. You know, whether it is the language issue, of course, the whole issue of the delimitation was picked up by the DMK. You projected BJP as somebody, a party which is working against the interest of Tamilians in Tamil Nadu. Now the BJP says, here is a Tamilian who can go to the top position, one of the top jobs in the country. Why is the DMK not backing a Tamilian at this moment?
Yeah, here is a Tamilian who stands with the BJP and RSS in everything that's against the interest of Tamil Nadu. Here is a Tamilian who's standing with the BJP when it comes to three-language policy. Even the allies of the BJP are opposing. Here is a Tamilian who did not open his mouth when 2,200 crores of educational funds was denied to Tamil Nadu. Here is a Tamilian who stands with the BJP, which denied the flood money, deserving flood money to Tamil Nadu. So, in Tamil Nadu, there is a difference between ideology and individual. In the past, BJP has projected very many, let's take example of Abdul Kalam, who was from Tamil Nadu in 2002. Following that, there was a parliamentary election where BJP was washed away. So all this form of tokenism is well understood by people of Tamil Nadu. They don't want a poster boy, rather they want real issues that has to be addressed, which cannot be addressed by the BJP or the candidate who was put by the BJP.
Okay.
Like in 2022, when Murmu was projected as a presidential candidate, the same allegations were put on us. They said, you stand for social justice, but you're not supporting a tribal candidate. You know, it is under her presidency, the tribal people of Manipur suffered a lot. There was a near genocide on the people. But what did the president do? So it doesn't matter who the candidate is. What matters is the ideology and the product that the candidate brings to the table. That is more important.
All right, you made your opening remarks. Let me get in Mr. Nalan Kohli to respond to what you have said. Mr. Kohli, it's tokenism is what the opposition is calling it. Whether you have the numbers stacked with you as far as the election is concerned, it is certainly looking like a contest.
Mr. Chandrapuram Ponasamy Radhakrishnan ji has no controversy around him. He's a fine gentleman. He has discharged all his responsibilities without an iota of an allegation against him. Now the DMK may wish not to support him for any reason, but in fairness, it is not correct to speak the kind of language, here is a Tamilian who is standing against it, etc. What the rest of the country and those who practice Sanatan Dharma can say, here is a party that considered Sanatan Dharma to be a disease. When the first family of Tamil Nadu itself goes to temples and prays. So I think lines need to be drawn. The DMK wants to support or not support the NDA candidature is their call. Whether they want to be with a person who's a Tamilian or not is their call. But they don't need to run down a fine gentleman just to try and give it an angle as if they are doing the right thing. They are entitled to not vote for Mr. C.P. Radhakrishnan if they so want to do so. But why give this sort of a twist standing against three language, etc.? Because that's not the case, because the counter can be said for the DMK. Here is a party that stands against every practicing Hindu by calling Sanatan Dharma to be a disease. So the logical question is which religion is not a disease? So therefore, lines have to be drawn. And in that perspective, I don't agree with the DMK spokesperson. He's entitled to those views, but I would reject them as saying those are views to give a cover to a decision they are finding difficult to somehow oppose.
Mr. Rajagopalan, let me bring you in at this moment. Has the BJP put the opposition, in a catch, especially the DMK and the Dravidian parties in a catch-22 situation? It's just not a message to the DMK, but also to the AIDMK, because there were some fissures between the alliance BJP and the AIDMK. With getting Mr. Radhakrishnan, they paper over those fissures, and apart from that, has sown the doubts as far as the NDA is concerned, forcing possibly their hand to get another Tamilian in the race.
Ankit, the politics of Tamil Nadu is totally different. It is now 24 hours. DMK is yet to make up its mind whether to support CPR Radhakrishnan or not. Second, DMK has wriggled out now. Earlier the day, Mr. Tiruthi Siva name was being floated, A. Raja name were floated. DMK did not make up its mind. They put a balloon and it created an atmosphere. Now they are saying Mail Swami. He is equal to Mr. Abdul Kalam. This type of thing. So now coming to the point of RSS. Because DMK is categorizing Mr. C.P. Radhakrishnan as RSS. Yes, he is RSS. But the same DMK, Ankit, in 1999 and 1998, had an alliance with BJP and CM Radhakrishnan won because of DMK. Was he not RSS then? Second, when Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee went to Chennai, same RSS leader, Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee is a known RSS leader. Mr. M. Karunanidhi, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, given a rousing reception in Tamil Nadu and also in Gopalapuram in his house, because I was present at that time.
Yes.
He exchanged the seats. Mr. Karunanidhi came out of his seat and offered the seat to Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee. And Mr. Murasoli Maran was 5 years with him. During Gojra incident, DMK was with them. Now coming to the point, if he is an RSS, Murasoli, the official organ of DMK, has supported RSS. Now coming to crucial one. Mr. Stalin is in a dilemma. Mr. Stalin is in a catch-22 situation because it is Mr. I take little ahead of what Mr. Kohli said, and I also make Mr. Kohli know that Mr. Narendra Modi is the first Prime Minister to go to Jaffna when 2 lakh people, Tamilians, were killed by Congress DMK supported government.
Right.
At that time, Mr. Narendra Modi went there. So he is for Tamil Nadu. Second important one, finally, DMK is in a catch-22 situation. I will again say it. Day before yesterday, Ankit, a hardcore RSS man was admitted into DMK. That is B. Maitreyan. What do you say about it?
Okay. Dr. Hafiz, you need to respond to a few questions that have been raised. And also the fact remains that the DMK, when you come out, you can't be the sole custodians of what the Tamils think and the Tamilian pride is. Like Mr. Rajagopalan was saying, that it was in 98-99 that Mr. Radhakrishnan also won the elections with the support of the DMK. At that point of time, the people of Coimbatore did repose their faith in him. That is also Tamilians reposing their faith in a man who won 2 elections. So DMK can't be the sole custodian of Tamil pride and what is good for Tamil Nadu or not. You have your political compulsions, that is understandable.
The history of the last elections of the last 15 years makes it very clear that who the custodians of Tamil are. One, to Rajagopalachari, I'll put it back to him. It is the same Dravidian party that BJP allied with. Now, what is your problem with the Dravidian ideology? How did we become divisive now? In 99, you had a happy time with us. You came our home. You accepted our invitations. We were part of your government. That time, we were a good party. Now we become corrupt. Now we become divisive. We become secessionists. We become separatists. All this going back and, misquoting things are not what we want today. At this point of time, what Tamil Nadu wants and what the issue is, what we clearly explaining to the people of Tamil Nadu, for the good of the people, there is no catch-22 situation. Honestly, I'm telling you, people of Tamil Nadu will not support any candidate backed up by the BJP or NDA. That is the reality. You see 2024 election, what happened? People are not with the BJP. There's no catch-22 situation. Our leader is very clear. We are part of the India line. Anybody who's a part of NDA will not be backed up. Mere posturing as a Tamilian by standing against the interest of Tamil Nadu is not making us stand in a catch-22 situation.
Mr. Kohli, a lot of assertion has been made that this is also in a way with the candidature of Mr. Radhakrishnan, it's a sort of a course correction for the BJP as well, after having burned their hands with the experience with Mr. Jagdeep Dhankar, who was not from the RSS BJP lineage, getting somebody who's dyed in the wool, Jan Sangh RSS BJP. The BJP is also trying to make those amends, and with that, sending a political message for the upcoming elections of Tamil Nadu.
The beauty about political posturing is that you just simply twist the words. So the parties that have been part of the NDA, as Rajagopalanji was saying, during the NDA time, 98-99, and that's the DMK. At that time, the BJP or the RSS was not communal. So what was the logic? They were trying to curtail the so-called communal forces. And today they want to oppose the so-called communal forces. So this is political posturing. As I said at that time, earlier in my remarks, that they are entitled to have a political position. That's the beauty of democracy. But when democracy is functioning, you don't call democracy to be dead. You don't then say the constitution is dead, because my learned friend from the DMK is saying his exact whatever he wishes to say, nobody is stopping him. And we are also listening to that point of view. It doesn't matter whether they want to support or they not. But what Rajgopalanji said, and that's a very critical point, which again needs to be emphasized, and thank you for pointing that out, Rajgopalanji, that Prime Minister Modi did go to Jaffna, and that itself shows the affection. Let's take the Kashi Tamil Sangam in terms of people going there in thousands of numbers year after year.
Yeah.
There is a bridge speaking about the greatness of the Tamil language. People like me don't know Tamil, perhaps may not have the opportunity to know, but those who will study in Tamil Nadu will have the pleasure to know. As we learn so many languages, if I was in Bengal, I learned Bengali. So I don't think learning a language can ever be divisive. It only adds. People learn foreign languages.
But Mr. Kohli, you didn't answer the question that I asked.
One can learn Tamil or another language.
Is it just about the love for Tamil Nadu and the people of Tamil Nadu, or is it there also a political message, some sort of a course correction from the BJP in the candidature of Mr. Radhakrishnan?
I don't think you could call it, Ankit, a course correction. Of course, in politics, there is political messaging. How can there be politics without political messaging? That is the nature of politics, but it's not a course correction. The point that is being made through what Rajgopalanji spoke about Jaffna, or what I was saying about the link between Tamil Nadu and, say, Kashi, is the affection for a part of India as it should be for any other part. Now, the DMK is entitled to say, we don't take this as a message of affection. We would like to have our own candidate. That is their choice. But how does that take away from the good candidature of Mr. C.P. Radhakrishnan?
Okay. Mr. Rajgopalan, let me give you the last word on this. Does it mean, or is there a possibility that this could also have some sort of fruitful gain for the Bharatiya Janata Party, specifically only for the BJP in the upcoming elections? Do you think that the candidature of Mr. Rajgopalan could help the BJP break that ground, that fortress of Tamil Nadu?
Certainly BJP will make an issue out of this, and definitely Mr. M.K. Stalin, the Chief Minister, has to answer, because recent elections, Ankit, Prime Minister and Mr. Amit Shah, the Home Minister, put a question to the Tamilian people in 2024 elections that when Mr. G.K. Mopanar's name was raised as a Prime Ministerial candidate, the same DMK opposed. So therefore, everyone is opposed to them, whether Vice President, Kalam, and in Kalam's case, DMK Chief Mr. Karunanidhi said, Kalam and Kalagam. Kalagam means, betrayal type of things. So therefore, G.K. Mopanar, why they opposed it? Why they are opposing Mr. C.P. Radhakrishnan? Of course, DMK is against North Indians and they are against Hindu, as Nalin Kohli just now said. They cannot come out of it. But DMK would not allow any other person other than family members to rise in the party. Simple as that.
Because you've made some very important remarks. Last, I'm completely out of time on this section of the debate. Dr. Hafiz, 10 seconds to you to respond to what Mr. Rajgopalan has said.
No, we are not against North Indians, we are not against Hindus, we are not against anybody. It's a misconception and the myth that the Rajgopalan believes and propagates. If the people of Tamil Nadu are electing us time and again, if they could buy the allegations of Rajgopalan or the BJP, wouldn't be in trouble.
All right, gentlemen,
people of Tamil Nadu are with us, they are against the BJP.
Debate, or rather a discussion, I won't call it a debate, where everybody has been able to put forward their points. Thank you so much to all of you. Mr. Kohli stays with us for the second half of our discussion on the Election Commission. But let me very quickly, just wrap this up by saying that whether opposition knows that the numbers are stacked against them, but there is a fight that they will put on to send across a message. And after what has happened with the Jagdeep Dhankar fiasco, how this plays out politically, not just in Tamil Nadu, but across the country, and then, of course, in the Rajya Sabha, is going to be a very, very important pick for the vice presidential polls. With that, we are slipping into a short break. Coming back, stay tuned.
For those who live in the National Capital Region, you know that commuting into Delhi from Gurugram is a nightmare at the best of times. It takes hours on the road one way. Now, several parts of the Dwarka Expressway have already been opened to traffic, but on a trial basis. The Prime Minister inaugurated the entire stretch, including a new tunnel which has been constructed near Mahipalpur in Delhi. What we decided to do was take a reality check on whether that road actually makes a difference, and also take a look at a far more substantive project. It's called the UER, Urban Extension Road 2, which actually links up to that same Dwarka Expressway, and it connects 3 national highways, provides better connectivity to the northwest of Delhi, to the southwest of Delhi, including areas such as the Indira Gandhi International Airport. Does it make a difference? Find out.
Hello, Moto.
Moto G96 5G. All eyes on you.
फिनिस्टा विंडोज, ब्यूटीफुल एंड ड्यूरेबल डिजाइन्स, इंस्टॉलेशन से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस। आपके घर में फिनिस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए।
Find Finer Finesta.
माय बर्थडे गिफ्ट टू पापा, ये उनके पापा की पहली गाड़ी एक गराज में पड़ी थी दार्जिलिंग में, फिर 3 मैकेनिक, पेंटिंग, पॉलिशिंग। जब इसे फाइनली घर लाया ना, तब लगा लाइफ में ग्रो किया है। बुलाओ।
SIP करो, इन्वेस्ट करो, लाइफ में ग्रो करो। प्रतिभूति बाजार में निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। निवेश करने से पहले सभी संबंधित दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
Rajasthan is history, culture, and much more. And I have been reporting on all things royal for more than 25 years.
The colors, the culture, and the complexities of the Northeast is different from the rest of the country. I have been bringing the Northeast closer to the capital for over 15 years.
Madhya Pradesh is the heart of India, and I have been capturing its every beat for over 10 years, covering the corridors of power, what is said, what is left unsaid, and what it actually means for you and me. I have it all covered.
Kashmir is often called paradise on earth, a region that has been in a state of flux from conflict to India's crowning glory. I have been reporting and decoding Jammu and Kashmir for last 3 decades.
Vanakkam Tamil Nadu.
Well, the battle for Tamil Nadu 2026 is open now.
After Chief Minister Stalin rolls up his sleeves.
And Vijay steps in as a star challenger.
This is a mass gathering, not for cash.
Meanwhile, a former Chief Minister, Edapadi Palanisamy, begins his fight back.
The big comeback campaign by EPS has well and truly begun.
These are all the ultimate players, and this is going to be the ultimate test.
Mohit, you are known for your music. All your films, musics stay with us till today. I'm a millennial, and those music are kind of music. So whenever we say Mohit Suri film aa raha hai, we know the music will be good, right? It's a given. So you really work hard. But is this always like how you create your music? You need everything in place, the mood, the lighting, even when the person is in the studio and just singing. And also, how did you select your musicians that this person's voice is perfect for this song?
That's what I think, the amount you give to a song, that's how long it will last, I think. Everyone does the programming, everyone writes the words, everyone makes the thing. But the thing is how much you give, how much of heart you give to the lyrics or to the music or to the melody or to the singing. That's how long the song.
Some important breaking news coming in at this moment, viewers. Let's quickly shift our focus to that. Supreme Court has rejected the plea to declare Maharashtra Assembly elections null and void due to 70 lakh fake voter allegations. The Supreme Court upheld the Bombay High Court's decision on the Maharashtra elections. The petitioner, Chetan Ahire, a voter in the Vikhroli constituency, has moved the Supreme Court after the Bombay High Court rejected his petition on June 26. On Monday, a bench of Justice Sundaresh and Justice Koteshwar Singh dismissed the petition. In fact, the petitioner had argued 70 lakh fake votes were casted after 6 p.m. in Maharashtra Assembly elections, and therefore the election should be cancelled. The court has in fact dismissed this petition, saying that it doesn't hold any merit. Now this, in fact, Supreme Court breaking also comes at a time when there are already an escalation. The opposition has upped the ante against the Election Commission, in even going to the length of saying that they could even consider bringing an impeachment motion against the Chief Election Commissioner. This happened today, and this happened after the Election Commission yesterday finally decided to respond to the continuous barrage of press conferences by the opposition, backed by some data, to not only put a big question mark on the Election Commission but the whole exercise of free and fair elections. Rahul Gandhi is leading the charge from the opposition. He's in Bihar campaigning for the Vote Adhikar Yatra. But neither Election Commission's press conference has neither satisfied the opposition nor has it stopped the political war of words between the BJP and the opposition. Fierce political tussle between the political players is not new in the country, but a no-hold-bar, gloves-off kind of a scuffle between the opposition and a constitutional body like the Election Commission is certainly unprecedented.
कल जो प्रेस वार्तालाप हमने देखा चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर का, उन्होंने कल अपने प्रेस वार्तालाप में राजनीतिक दलों पर सवाल उठाया और एक प्रकार से राजनीतिक दलों पर आक्रमण किया, जबकि बेहतर ये होता कि वे ये बताते कि ये एसआईआर प्रोसेस इतनी हड़बड़ी में, इतनी जल्दबाजी में क्यों कर रहे हैं। और इसीलिए साफ साफ जाहिर होता है कि अब चुनाव आयोग ऐसे कुछ अफसरों के कमान में हैं जो निष्पक्ष नहीं, साफ साफ एक पक्ष लेते हैं।
कल इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया ने, चुनाव आयोग ने एक प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस किया, तमाम आयोग के सदस्य बैठे थे और मैं कहूंगा कि पॉइंट बाय पॉइंट टेक्निकल रिबटल उन्होंने दिया है। बिहार में 20 वर्ष पहले एसआईआर इंटेंसिव रिवीजन हुआ था, 20 वर्ष के बाद 2003 के बाद पुनः हो रहा है। जिन लोगों के मन में प्रश्न था कि अभी क्यों हो रहा है चुनाव से कुछ महीनों पहले, तो उसका भी जवाब दिया गया कि 20 साल पहले जो हुआ था उस समय का कालखंड भी चुनाव का कालखंड ही था, उस समय ही हुआ था, उस समय किसी की आपत्ति नहीं थी। ये सारे टेक्निकल विषय पे इलेक्शन कमीशन ने विस्तार से जवाब दिया, मगर जो ना समझे उसको समझाया नहीं जा सकता है।
All right, joining me to discuss this further, I have Dr. Syed Nasir Hussain, Rajya Sabha MP of the Congress Party. Nalin Kohli, National Spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, continues to be with us. Sanjay Kumar, Professor CSDS, Co-Director Lokniti, is also with us. And joining us as well is Mr. O.P. Rawat, former Election Commissioner of India. Gentlemen, thank you so much for speaking to us on this. Let me start with you, Dr. Hussain, and I will ask you the question in context of the news that we just broke. The Supreme Court calling the a petition filed by one Mr. Ahire as absolutely meritless. His allegations were similar to what Mr. Rahul Gandhi has been saying as far as Maharashtra is concerned, over 76 lakh bogus votes. Should this not be taken, at least on face value, as a rebuke to what allegations Mr. Rahul Gandhi and the opposition is making, sir?
See, I don't know in what context that this judgment has come. I would like to make it very clear. We need answers from the Election Commission. We have raised certain issues which are there in public domain, and our questions are very clear. Yesterday, after a long time, when the EC organized a press conference, we were expecting that the issues that have been raised, not only by Mr. Rahul Gandhi ji, but also by the leaders of all opposition parties, the questions will be answered. He will clarify the issues on which the entire country is debating today. He will question as to what happened to 65 lakh voters in Bihar. He will clarify as to how there were additions for more than 60-70 lakh voters in Maharashtra. He will answer for all and every single question that was raised by the opposition. But instead of that, for the first time we see that a constitutional body threatening the opposition leaders, a constitutional body speaking the language of political parties, a constitutional body trying to speak the language of the party that is there in power even in government. So it is very clear that, as we had mentioned and as we were alleging earlier, that the autonomous body like CBI, ED, IT, the way they were compromised and bought over by the government in the similar way the election commission is completely compromised.
A similar petition is put by not by the Congress party, but an independent person in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court dismisses it, calling it meritless. You have been again and again raising the question of 70 lakh fake voters, which the Supreme Court has said it's a meritless, baseless allegation, sir. There has to be some end game. It can't be just allegation and then nothing else.
See, now now after Supreme Court said that 65 lakh voters that were deleted in Bihar electoral list need to be publicly notified, which the Election Commission was not ready to do so, despite the fact that the Haryana and Punjab High Court had come out with a decision that the proof and the videography should be given to the voters or the political parties or the candidates if they want so. So Election Commission was denying that, was not ready to do that. Only after the Supreme Court said that it has to be given, that they are trying to make public now. Now they say 22 lakh people have died in that. What were they doing for so many days? Why is this happening only in the just before the election? They are violating their own. They are violating their own guideline. That
you made your point, sir. I tried to press you on what the Supreme Court has said, and I'm.
Yes, sir. The whole point is why is the Election Commission not clarifying the
while you appreciate what the Supreme Court has said on the SIR, I'm hoping that the Congress party will also do a deep dive on what the Supreme Court's decision as far as the Maharashtra election is concerned. Mr. Kohli, let me bring you in at this moment, and I have a pointed question to you, sir. Has the Election Commission, after its press conference, has the Election Commission helped clarify or clear the air, or is there more confusion? Because there are, whether Mr. Sambit Patra says point by point rebuttal, but some questions which have not been answered. The Election Commission asked in a stern manner and challenged Mr. Rahul Gandhi to sign an affidavit within 7 days, but the same Election Commissioner did not say a word about similar questions raised by your party MP Anurag Thakur. Then there will be questions of partisan, sir.
So there's a huge difference between what the opposition parties say asking questions of a constitutional body like the Election Commission and making a wild allegation against a constitutional body like the Election Commission. Vote chori is an allegation, it's not a question. Anyone who studies basic grammar would know, starting with Wren and Martin if it's in English or in Hindi or any other language, picking up the appropriate language and grammar books, is that a question would be, I would like to know, this is my question, give me an answer. But it's not vote chori, that's an allegation. So I think where the opposition parties have done is they have come to the conclusion without any data. They have not looked at the merits of the matter which the Election Commission is doing. After having decided that this is what we believe the Election Commission is doing, they have abused the Election Commission. And then they say the Election Commission is not answering us. The Election Commission therefore held a press conference. I mean, every day, the Election Commission for every election, and this is a pattern, before every election faces the same allegations. So I ask myself, how has Mr. Rahul Gandhi become a member of parliament How did the Congress party win Telangana? How did the Congress party win Himachal? How did it win Karnataka? Or other opposition parties like, say, the Trinamool Congress in West Bengal, the DMK in Tamil Nadu, and so on and so forth. Elections are won and lost when voters decide whom to vote for. Not when the Election Commission decides whom to make a winner or a loser. The Election Commission declares what the voters of India decide. And therefore, the starting point is for the opposition to ask itself this question, 1 minute. Asking itself this question, what is it that we are not able to succeed in the eyes of the voters, which Narendra Modi ji or the BJP is succeeding?
No, Mr. Kohli,
and where we are succeeding, why the BJP is not succeeding?
No, but can I then ask, can I press you again on the question that I asked you, sir? The election, you said that they have already drawn a conclusion, but they have been raising, these issues of bogus voters in many constituencies. Karnataka was one example. They have done that. At that, Election Commission sternly comes and says, Rahul Gandhi, in 7 days, sign an affidavit or apologize to the country. Why should the Election Commission not ask Mr. Anurag Thakur the same? Hold on, sir, because Anurag Thakur also alleged bogus voters in Raebareli, in Wayanad, and in other constituencies as well.
Yeah, but he didn't call the Election Commission a vote chore. I mean, you can't compare it. You compare it in
But Election Commission is not asking for an affidavit on vote chore. They are asking for what Rahul Gandhi has said on bogus voters.
No, 1 minute, hold on. Because this is Mr. Yes. Yes, now you'll have to hear me, Ankit. It can't be a two-way. I can't overspeak with you. No?
Not at all. I'm just trying to put the question, sir.
Mr. Rahul Gandhi is, of course, I understand, and I'm going to answer that. I'm not taking offense to your repeating the question. I'm just simply saying, let me answer. Mr. Rahul Gandhi is the leader of opposition. Now let's look at Mr. Rahul Gandhi's track record. He comes up with these wild allegations from time to time. Finally, a constitutional body says, will you stand by your own word? Let's pick up Mr. Rahul Gandhi's gems. That democracy in India is in danger. What is Europe and America going to do about it? This is a member of parliament who has won an election sitting in Cambridge or Oxford in the UK and then asking this question. Let's go another one. Why do all people with Modi's surname, are they thieves? Chor kyun hote hain? On which he is castigated. He is facing a conviction. And then he says, you are now disqualifying me for the very act, which was the ordinance which Manmohan Singh ji brought and Mr. Rahul Gandhi tore and threw in the dustbin. So Mr. Rahul Gandhi on Rafale said, Rafale is a scam. Pegasus is a scam, didn't give his own mobile phone. So on what basis? These are allegations without a basis. So therefore, someone comes and says, okay, you are calling me a thief of vote. So come up and say it in an affidavit. I have the guts to say that I stand by my word. Mr. Rahul Gandhi can't have it both ways. I'll abuse the Election Commission and get away with it. And then the Election Commission is to be blamed because it answers back for the abuse that it is receiving.
Whether there are different yardsticks or not, let me get Sanjay Kumar on this at this moment, who very closely watches, of course, elections and the political system in India. Sanjay Kumar, is the first of all, what is your take on the way Election Commission came out and responded yesterday to all these allegations which have been made for months and months on end? Isn't the onus little more on Election Commission to try and assuage all these doubts, question, remarks which have been made on it?
I agree. The onus is more on Election Commission rather than the opposition party. But I think the unfortunate situation which we are witnessing in the country, a confrontation between opposition and the Election Commission, is very unfortunate. This should not have happened. But again, I'm saying the onus is more on the part of Election Commission. I will give you a few examples what could have saved this situation to happen. Look, when Rahul Gandhi was making those claims about, the vote chori in Karnataka, I think Election Commission could have simply responded that, look, we will investigate the matter, and whatever comes out from the investigation, we will bring it in front of the people of this country, instead of saying, sign a document, sign the affidavit, and then any investigation will take place. When Election Commission is already in the middle of a storm, when they revised the rules of keeping the retaining the video footage for only 45 days and not for 1 year, which was earlier the rule between 6 months to 1 year, they could have simply taken back the decision and said, look, if there is a controversy about that, we can go along with retaining the video footages for 1 year for the next few years, because there is a controversy regarding that. If few such things would have been done, I think the situation which we are at the moment would have been saved. But as I'm saying, it's not only Election Commission which is at fault. Fault means at loggerhead. A position like a few statements would have been, like the opposition, especially few statements by Rahul Gandhi. If those statements were not given, the situation would not have been as to reach to such state. Like retire bhi ho jayenge, kahin bhi chale jayenge, to chhodenge nahi. I think this was slightly unnecessary. And this
You're
was
right. And that's an important one that you've raised. And let me take that to Dr. Hussain. Dr. Hussain, this is being seen as the opposition parties not being able to possibly win as many elections in the last 10, 11 years as they would have liked, and hence almost threatening the Election Commission for possibly, as Nalin Kohli was saying, not being able to find the confidence in the voters. Opposition mulling impeachment of the CEC. This is a very grave charge, sir. It will have far-reaching consequences. Is the Congress party, is the opposition serious about this?
Ankit, you are again and again asking, and the BJP spokesperson is again and again saying we are alleging, we are calling the Election Commission vote chore. One should understand, we are not calling the Election Commission the vote chore. We are calling the party that is there in power in the center, that is the one which is doing the vote chori, and with the help of the Election Commission. This is what they did with the help of CBI, ED, IT, threatening the leaders of the opposition parties, getting into their own party and then saying they're all very clean. We have seen all that in the last 11 years. So let them not teach us. What we are trying, we have done a case study of one constituency, one assembly constituency of a big parliamentary constituency in Karnataka, and 110,000 voters were alleged to be added, duplicated. They were names that were not existent, non-existent names, so many things. Clear-cut case of complete mismanagement, fraudulent voters, fake voters, and so on. So the Election Commission didn't speak even a single word about that press conference yesterday in their press conference. They have not answered even a single question on that, except for threatening what we are doing.
But
Point number one. Point number two is when we have. Just once again, why is the Election Commission afraid of giving the video footages or the videography that is done during the voting? Why do they want to restrict till 45 days? Why is the Election Commission saying हमारी माँ बहने के videographs कैसा दे सकते हैं? What nonsense is this? माँ बहने जाके वोटें डाल सकते हैं जब सारे टेलीविजन चैनल्स पे उनको दिखा सकते हैं, लेकिन उनकी की वीडियोग्राफी नहीं दे सकते हैं जब पूछा जाता है. And this was they changed this rule after the decision of the High Court of Haryana and after the judgment of Haryana and Punjab High Court. This is how they are trying to manipulate the entire process. So there should be a discussion.
Let me bring Nalin Kohli on this. Nalin Kohli, this is also one of the questions. Hold on, sir. Let me bring Nalin Kohli on this. Nalin Kohli, this has also been one of the questions that many people think Election Commission has not satisfactorily answered. Election Commission spoke about the privacy concerns of women if the CCTV is released. And why I find this bizarre is, Mr. Kohli, because as per the EC rule itself, is it okay to release the footage in 45 days? Then there is no breach of privacy. But after 45 days, there will be a breach of privacy if the footage is released.
So that's a question the Election Commission will answer. I'm not their spokesperson and I'm not their lawyer. But certainly as a political person, I have much to ask of the Congress party. You give the example of Karnataka, the state where the Congress is in power. Their minister, that is the Congress minister, says something and he's sacked the next day. I mean, the Election Commission, they seek time with the Election Commission. 30 of us will come. When the Election Commission says, please come, they say, no, 300 of us will come. So, I mean, what are these changing goalposts? So, I think there's a political story to it. There's no constitutional story to this. And there's certainly no story related to vote chori. This is a posturing, just as Rafael, just as Pegasus, and just as what the Supreme Court has today thrown out the Maharashtra thing.
But should they?
Every time they lose it, they pick up. This is the fancy for ideas of the Congress party.
Because like your party MP also suggested that there have been opposition won constituencies where he has found some faults. So there should be more transparency. Election Commission should come out and answer those questions in more transparent manner. Won't you agree to that?
So therefore, how do you expect the Election Commission to answer in a manner that will please Mr. Rahul Gandhi? I mean, come on, that's not exactly how it works. I will take an answer that I like and I won't take an answer that I don't like. When is that going to happen, Ankit? That is the desire that Mr. Rahul Gandhi comes up with this phrase, vote chori. So Congress came up with chokidar chor hai. What did the people of India say? That was, I think, Mr. Rahul Gandhi's idea only. Then Congress came up with chai wala. What did the people of India say? Now today Congress has come up with vote chori. The people of Bihar will give an answer for that.
All right, we'll wait for the people of Bihar to give an answer to that.
Voters, ghost voters, foreign nationals, Rohingyas, Bangladeshis to be part of it.
Okay, let me
people's votes to continue.
Let me bring Sanjay Kumar for the last word on this because I'm completely out of time. Sanjay Kumar,
were they doing?
Sir, both of you have enough time for all the questions to answer. Let me please give the last word to Sanjay Kumar. Mr. Kumar, the opposition, calling out the Election Commission and, now in fact even speaking about impeachment and so on and so forth. Do you think that this will in a way somehow sow the seeds of doubts in the mind of the people, erode the credibility of the Election Commission?
So certainly, we have done a survey and we keep asking how much trust people have in Election Commission, and we have seen a systematic decline in the trust people show in Election Commission from 2019 to 24 and the recent survey which we have conducted only last week. So there is a decline in the trust people show in Election Commission. Slowly and gradually people will also start suspecting the credibility of election. That's bound to happen because all the opposition parties are campaigning for that. So that's bound to happen in the minds of the people of this country, voters of India.
Right. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us on this very important discussion. Though I disagree with Mr. Kohli, it doesn't matter what the result of the Bihar would be. I don't think this is the last that we have heard on this big fight between the opposition and the Election Commission and, of course, the BJP also in tow. That's all the time that we have in this edition of Last Word. We are coming back with much more on the other side on NDTV. Stay tuned.
Finesta Windows, beautiful and durable designs. इंस्टॉलेशन से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस. आपके घर में फिनेस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए.
Fine, finer, Finesta.
The markets move fast.
And so should your portfolio. Expert insights, real-time stock picks.
Do I buy Ola?
Should I hold
CDSL
for the long term? Buy, sell or hold?
The answers you need, straight from the experts.
Callers from India and across the world. Connect live, ask, decide and invest wisely.
Your portfolio, your future. Ask Profit.
First, when Sayyara released and we as audience realized, oh my God, what is happening? When did you realize it? It's like, I didn't expect this, what is happening? Like that wave that hits you.
The first thing that really hit me, I'm telling you, was a month back actually, to be honest, is when Adisa saw the film. And he saw a very loose cut and he decided the release date. But he was always... like me and Akshay were so into making the film, I think, along with Sumanna and all. Sometimes when you're so into it and you don't realize, you don't see it from, and then he saw it from a third person perspective. I mean, he was always super confident about the film. And he actually had this talk with me about how I've done. And yeah, we all grew up. I was in the 8th grade when I saw Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge and said I want to make a love story like this. For a person like him to say that, you've made a great film. All he had asked for me was to make your best film for me. And I did, and I'm just glad that, so that was the first thing, and that validation was great. I wasn't shouting over the roof for it, It gives you a lot of confidence at that moment, for the person who's actually put his money where it is, and he wasn't talking about anything else but on a very unassembled film at that time. Could feel the emotion and be listening. But it was the first time we felt that we made something special. But yes, once the numbers came in, I think then it was Akshay.
The advance.
Yeah, and the advances came in, and then people were sending me messages, and all they said, no, don't listen to anyone. So I at one point just put my phone off and said, this is getting too out of hand. And then in the night we got the number.
Is your business future ready? Join the 13-week strategic ESG certification program for business sustainability and growth for CXO and business leaders.
Good evening. Welcome to Left, Right and Centre. I'm Vishnu Shom on the program this evening. If you read the papers this morning, you would have seen massive ads and articles of two major road opening projects in the National Capital Region. One, the official inauguration by the Prime Minister of a new road that links Gurgaon and Delhi, which sees some of the most horrific traffic anywhere, and another also inaugurated by the Prime Minister, about 76 kilometers in length, which links to the same Dwarka Expressway, but one that connects the northwest and the southwest of Delhi and Gurgaon. While the Dwarka Expressway linking Gurgaon to Delhi has been opened on a trial basis, I decided to check it out to see if it is a solution for some of India's biggest traffic nightmares between Gurgaon and Delhi and vice versa. Well, that report is coming up. But first, let me put some context to it and explain in detail what the plans are to decongest not just that part of Delhi, the west, but also all of Delhi. Now, if it works, it'll be a game changer. Otherwise, quite frankly, we may be doomed to spending our lives on the roads. We can talk about politics another day. We can talk about big international affairs another day. But today, let's talk about the time that we spend on the roads in the national capital and see if there is a workable solution. That's what I spent the day doing today. So, in order to put this in perspective, it's important to look at maps. Now, this is the entire Delhi NCR region. So what we're going to do is take a look at this particular stretch, which is the Dwarka E-Way. Now, we've got a close-up of it. Now, this is the stretch which I actually visited earlier on today. I went on the road from Mahipalpur near the Delhi airport. I took this bypass and I reached the Nangloy-Najafgarh road instead of taking the normal road. But I'll come to my report later on. Let's in fact move on to the other details of what we are talking about. So let's have the map up on the screen one by one, all the pointers, so that we can talk exactly about the stretch. So let's have the graphics up, which we worked on, so that we can actually have an explainer on what the entire situation is. Do we have the graphics? No. All right. So let's take a look now at this point. Now, this is the Delhi NCR, the National Capital Region. All of these roads have actually been constructed within the last little while in order to enhance connectivity to and out of Delhi. But let's move to the next page, which gives you an idea of the road which has been inaugurated by the Prime Minister. Two stretches, one from Mahipalpur over here, going to Gurgaon over here. In the process, you bypass this particular stretch. This is where one sees an incredible amount of traffic. It was this stretch from here that I went back and forth on to give you a report card, and that's coming up on just whether this bypass works. Now, remember, the bypass has been open for a while on a trial basis, but it's open now completely. Now, that's the Dwarka Expressway. And then there is another 76-kilometer stretch, which is called the Urban Extension Road 2. That's also been inaugurated by the Prime Minister. Now, why is that particularly substantial? Because, in fact, it links up to certain national highways all across, one which goes to Kanyakumari, one which goes past Rohtak, one which goes elsewhere as well. So there is the Urban Extension Road and the Dwarka Expressway. Now, what the ultimate goal is to have at the Urban Extension Road, which stretches all across Delhi over here. That would be the Urban Extension Road in this area. Then there is the Eastern Peripheral Expressway, which has already been constructed. And then there is the Western Peripheral Expressway, which has already been constructed. So let me try and explain why we are doing this. What we are trying to show over here is that there is an effort at trying to create ring roads around Delhi. This is the Western Peripheral Expressway. It leads on to the Eastern Peripheral Expressway. It goes all around Delhi. Then inside that, there is the stretch which I have been talking about now, which is the Urban Extension Road and the Dwarka Expressway, which leads up to this entire stretch, which will then be constructed, the Urban Extension Road, the eastern section, which needs to come up. That's going to link up as well. And what we already have inside Delhi is the outer ring road and the inner ring road. Now, will this actually solve the problems of this entire area in commuting, getting in and out of the national capital? Theoretically, it should help in decongesting Delhi, because traffic which isn't looking to get into Delhi can actually use a lot of these highways to try and get across the national capital region, and movement from Delhi outside through the new highways which have been created, that becomes quite important. But again, let's focus a little bit on this particular stretch from the Indira Gandhi International Airport, Mahipalpur over here, where I drove across to Gurgaon and back. How much time did it take me to traverse this? And ultimately, I wanted to see how much time it would take me to get from this area right to the heart of New Delhi, the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, that particular area. Let's take a look at my report card. For those living in the National Capital Region, you would know that commuting in and out of Delhi from places like Gurgaon is a nightmare at the best of times, particularly during rush hour traffic. Yesterday, the Prime Minister inaugurated two key stretches of road. One is the Dwarka Expressway going up to Gurgaon, and another one is called UER, or the Urban Extension Road 2, which links three major highways to the northwest of Delhi, to areas such as Indira Gandhi International Airport, and it also links up to the Dwarka Expressway. Now, to be certain, the Dwarka Expressway had been opened up to traffic on a trial basis earlier on. We decided to get a sense of what the big deal was all about. So from one end of the Dwarka Expressway on the Gurgaon side to where it actually enters the Mahipalpur region of Delhi, it has taken us exactly 20 minutes. Now that could be a game changer, but the fact of the matter is this. Just look at the traffic which merges onto this new road, because this is the same stretch of highway and there doesn't appear to be any way of avoiding that. So yes, there are quite clearly bottlenecks which do exist. The new stretch is fabulous. There are multiple lanes, there's an underpass, there's an overpass, all that is great. It will certainly save people a great deal of time. It'll help to decongest this stretch. But once you're here on the Delhi side, it's going to take as much time. So it took us 1 hour, 5 minutes from the start of the Dwarka Expressway in Gurgaon to get to the All India Institute of Medical Sciences in the heart of Delhi. Now that at 3 p.m. in the afternoon or so is not exactly incredible. Yes, it is much better than if you were to take the normal highway. But quite frankly, there are larger questions which need to be asked. Can anything realistically be done to improve the condition of the national capital's roads? Are there simply too many cars? Can public transportation actually improve to an extent, to a point where people decide not to take their cars? These are larger questions. For now, does it help? Yes, it does. But once you get to Delhi, it's a straight bottleneck, as it's always been. With Aman Singh, Vishnu Show for NDTV. All right, well, that's a reality check on one part of that highway, the highway going from Gurgaon to Delhi and vice versa. Does that really make a difference? And what about this entire business of several ring roads which have actually been formed. Is that a solution for Delhi's traffic mess? Joining us now, Sameer Jasuja, founder and managing director of Prop Equity. Zenith Chaudhary, a resident of Gurugram. Also Pradeep Rawat, another resident, and Dr. PSN Rao, a professor of urban planning at SPA. Dr. Rao, let me come to you first. I've tried to explain in as simple terms as possible what the situation is. But I found in my report that once you get into Delhi from Gurgaon, using this absolutely fantastic road with a wonderful tunnel and artwork on both sides, and then there are bridges as well, you hit a stretch of road which is a massive bottleneck, and things don't really change once you enter Delhi. So it's relief, all right, but it's only temporary. Is that your sense as well?
Yeah, absolutely, Vishnu. I couldn't agree with you more. I live in Gurgaon and I work in Delhi. And I use this stretch of the road at least twice every day. And I've been doing this for years now. And this solution that has been attempted at this point in time is only a partial solution. Maybe some of the vehicles would get diverted. But the problem is that a very large population living in Gurgaon works in Delhi, and vice versa. A large population living in Delhi works in Gurgaon. So the stretch from Dholakwa going all the way on the national highway up to Gurgaon is continuing, will continue to be choked. The solution actually is, how do you get cars off the road? I mean, why should everybody take out his or her own car and do the journey? Why can't we use the metro? I have myself used the metro several times, and I find that the metro is a much better option. But then for many people, the last mile connectivity is actually a nightmare, and therefore many people just can't use the metro, because the metro in Delhi, well, it's fairly good, but then in Gurgaon, you don't have a good coverage of the metro. So therefore the last mile connectivity leaves a lot to be desired, and therefore many people are not really switching over to the metro. And therefore, unless and until you get cars off the road, you can keep having more and more tunnels and more flyovers. You can keep widening the roads, but it's just not going to solve the problem, because the car population is also increasing. Just look at the number of cars that are being sold every day in Delhi. So wider the roads, more cars, more traffic jams. It's a kind of a vicious circle. So unless and until we keep our cars in the garages and then start using public transport, I don't think we can really solve this problem at all.
Dr. Rao, how many cars are being added to the NCR's roads on a daily basis? Dr. Rao, do you have any idea of the statistics of the number of cars? All right, we'll come back to him in a moment. But let me go across to Pradeep Rawat. Mr. Rawat, is this a solution to travel to and from the national capital region from the Gurgaon region?
Thank you, first of all, for having me on the show. To tell you the truth, I have lived long enough in Delhi, Gurgaon, Noida. I keep oscillating between all these three places quite often. And almost on a daily basis, I'm into Delhi, I'm into Gurgaon, and I'm into Noida as well. And the main problem is the most of the time spent on the roads. And it's a matter of fact that when we are traveling either from Noida to Delhi to Gurgaon or Gurgaon to Delhi, the problem is there are too many bottlenecks at too many places. Even if one stretch of road is wide enough for people to travel nicely or freely, then suddenly one bottleneck comes up, and that literally destroys the whole momentum that is set for a car or any other vehicle to drive. The problem actually is the previous panelist was saying that more people should travel in a metro. But problem for the places like Gurgaon is, in places like Dwarka Expressway, there is no metro at all. It's only in the right beginning at the Gurgaon, their metro is there. Otherwise, there's no metro at all. Second problem is, at certain places, the last mile connectivity, as he was mentioning, is right. It's not there. Especially in Gurgaon, public transport system is it is not there. So the problem is, if a person tries to keep his car or a vehicle at home and he tries to travel by metro or something like a public transport, it is not there at all. So what government and the authorities need to do is provide a proper system, as if that if a person is leaving the house, he should be able to reach his destination at the right point of time by taking up public transport. If that happens, then a lot of problems will be solved. Otherwise, you will keep on adding the new roads, widening the roads, but the continuation of adding up of cars and the vehicles will continue to make the traveling a nightmare, which is already there. I hope government is listening. I hope the authorities are listening, and the people at least understand. Until unless we all decide that we all need to save time, we need to actually sometimes get into the metros or the public transport, then things will change. But the whole idea of widening the roads or making Dwarka Expressway or better roads will work only when everybody works in tandem along with each other, like a team, whether it's the commuters, whether it's the general public, or whether it's the government, or whether it's the authorities. Everybody needs to come together, work together, and make sure that things go smoothly on a right path. That is what I believe.
Back to Dr. Rao for a moment, sir. The urban extension road, which has also been opened up by the Prime Minister, that actually is meant to give a great deal of connectivity. It links up 3 national highways. It gives a great deal of connectivity to the northwest of Delhi, to the southwest of Delhi and Haryana, the border region as it were. Do you believe that could be actually a game changer, particularly if the eastern part of this urban extension road gets built? Because once it does, then you would actually have 4 ring roads in Delhi. The inner ring road, the outer ring road, you'd have the upper extension road as it goes all around. Then you'd have the eastern and western peripheral highways. So essentially 4 ring roads. Would that be of any help?
Yeah, see, these ring roads would only help you partially because many parts of Delhi still remain unconnected, and people coming from, like you said, that you've traveled all the way from AIIMS. So there are many people coming from central Delhi and from South Delhi and going all the way to Gurgaon and vice versa. So for them, it is still going to be a problem. So while these new set of routes that have been established, they would help, they would only help partially. And I don't think the problem will be solved completely. As has been said by the resident just now, I think it's very important that we look at the last mile connectivity to increase the ridership in the metro. In many places, the people are not using the metro because of the lack of last mile connectivity. In Gurgaon particularly, for example, if you take Udyog Vihar, for instance, where a large number of people from Delhi travel to Gurgaon just to work in that Udyog Vihar area, there is just no metro connectivity at all. So the expansion of the metro in Gurgaon itself is necessary. Otherwise, with increasing vehicle population, I think these efforts will not really help. They will partially help, but again, the number of vehicles are going to increase. So again, you will have choked roads.
Zenit Chaudhary, would you agree? Solution. Sure. Zenit Chaudhary, would you agree that unless there is a much bigger effort at actually moving away from private transportation to adopting public transportation, and let's face it, a lot of us hate doing that. We just feel it's not comfortable enough. We just feel that it affects our lifestyle. Until we get around to doing that, we're just going to face this complete nightmare.
Yeah, I totally agree with this point also. And apart from this, as told by Mr. Pradeep, like Gurgaon doesn't have much of the public transport facilities. If I have to travel to Delhi, I have to take my own vehicle because we are not so much connected to the metro inside Gurugram. And in Delhi also, see this whole planning, these two highways hain, both of these are like more of, it requires more of, it is actually strategic planning, part of strategic planning, and it requires more of sustainable planning. Otherwise, you see, Delhi's problem is about systemic planning because there is lack of public transit ways and over-reliance on the private vehicles. At the same time, if you see, if we talk about this UER is definitely going to help a lot of commuters because recently I have been to Chandigarh and it took me only 4 hours. I used that highway and it was a marvelous experience, I must say.
Right.
But inside Delhi, it is, we speak about, on a larger scale. On larger scale, more strategic planning is required. Definitely it is required. More transit ways are required. That is how I feel about it.
Samir Jasuja, the bottom line is that irrespective of where you are, whether you're in Delhi or you're in Gurgaon, you're going to hit a bottleneck on either side. You might have a wonderful experience, and it took me just less than 15 minutes on the Dwarka Expressway from Mahipalpur to the end of that Dwarka Expressway into Gurgaon. On the way back, it took me exactly the same amount of time, and that was a fantastic drive. The rest was a nightmare as always. So my point is, on either side, you face bottlenecks to which there are no solutions.
Look, a lot of the panelists have given a lot of valid suggestions, but we're forgetting 2-3 things. First of all, the traffic in the car volume in NCR is more than all the tier 1 cities put together. The population is the maximum. We have 33 million population compared to other cities. We have actually much better roads compared to other cities. And unfortunately, India has only got 6 or 7 tier 1 cities where it should be having many more. And that's the bigger problem. The second thing that I would like to highlight as a solution is that metro has become super successful and people are talking about last mile connectivity. That's really not the entire reason why many people are not taking the metro. The metro during office hours has become so jam-packed that people have to let go 3-4 trains to get onto the 5th or the 6th train. So what has to be really done is the volume of the velocity of trains has to increase, the number of coaches have to increase, and our metro, which is the lifeline of the city now, has to become far more efficient, and nobody's talking about that. Last mile connectivity has been addressed a lot. I live in Gurgaon, I work in Gurgaon, and I have over 500 people coming to my office in Gurgaon. Last mile connectivity is not as much of a problem today as much as that they can't get into the metro and get out of the metro at the right time. And they have to miss many metros. That is the bigger cause. And the second bigger cause is, of course, the reality is you can build more roads, but there'll be far more cars. There is population increase because of migration and the city is growing. And the government can only do that much, right? And they're trying their level best to create connectivity as much as they can. But it is a reality, and you look at Bangalore or you look at Mumbai, we are much better off than those cities, even though we have 3 times more population than that. So it's not all negative. Yes, traffic is going to be a part of our life. We're going to spend an hour and a half unless you choose to shift your residence and be close by to your work. And that's why Gurgaon was created. That's why Noida was created, with affordable housing, and a lot of commercial office space got created so that people could move there and they don't have to travel 1.5 hours to 2 hours from their place of home to their place of work.
Right.
So I think I would promote a lot of people to look at where they work, they should try and live nearby. And secondly, to suggest the government that they should increase the number of coaches and the velocity of the trains.
I do believe that's an important point, and that's been a long-standing demand, that the metro is great, but the capacity needs to rise dramatically because of the number of people who are actually using it. Be that as it may, this is a small step which brings some relief. I think the big question which none of us have really brought up is, why wasn't something like this done 20 years ago?